Now, my name is Kofi Taharka. I'm the national chairman of the National Black United Front. We are part and parcel of a coalition called the Black Justice Tuesday Coalition that includes the new Black Panther Party in Houston, headed by Ms. Crystal Muhammad. Just raise your hand so the media can know who everybody is. The Shape Community Center and the Shape Community Center Council of Elders, our executive director, Brother Deloy Parker. We have Ms. Deb Shapto from the Green Party, who is a part of that coalition. We have Brother Delbert from the Occupy movement, who is a part of that coalition. There's some other people that may not be here. There's some other groups. We have the Nation of Islam that is a part of that coalition as well. We have our regional student minister, Minister Robert Muhammad. Raise your hand. And I know to my right, everybody knows Brother Minister Quanell X. And we have Attorney Jolanda Jones. Now, I didn't forget you, Maria. I didn't forget you. Maria, we're going to talk about those of us who got arrested. I'm talking about some of the people who've been in the coalition. The Black Justice Tuesday Coalition has been protesting for 68 straight weeks in front of first the Houston City Council and then the Harris County Courthouse, calling for and demanding an independent civilian review board with subpoena power, prosecutorial power, and proper funding as a tool that could stem the tide against police terrorism, police brutality, and police misconduct. We have done our homework across the country relative to the civilian review boards. In Houston, what was in place before the Chad Holley tape was released, and what is in place after the Chad Holley tape has been released is not an independent civilian review board with subpoena power, prosecutorial power, and proper funding. We have been gathering signatures on a petition, in a petition drive on a very grassroots level in order to place that on the ballot the same way the red light camera issue was placed on the ballot. We have said from the very beginning that this is not just about an individual case, that this is about a system that is based upon white supremacy, and it has been feeding on our people, African people, black people, Latino people, and poor people since time immemorial. We remember Jose Campos Torres. We remember Bobby Joe Connor. We remember Ida Delaney and Byron Gillum. We remember Carl Hampton. We remember Haji Harrison and Nehemiah Pickens. We remember the Robbie Tolan, who's still alive. We remember Anthony Childress or Tashaka and many other names of people that we do not know. What we have consistently said is that this is a system, and one tool to help correct what has gone on in that system is an independent civilian review board with subpoena power. Today, we are having a town hall meeting and organizing session with the community about how we further that goal. We have realized that we have to be consistent in our fight for justice. And that's why we've been there for 68 straight weeks, because we understood that we can't have a big uproar one week and go back to sleep and not do the organizing work that is necessary. So today, before I turn it over to Sister Crystal and Sister Jolanda and other speakers that will make comments, is we want to hear from the people and help organize ourselves so that we can change this and end this once and for all, the police terrorism and brutality in black communities, Latino communities, and poor people's communities. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to the chairperson of the of the new Black Panther Party and one of the strong advocates of our 68-week protest and participants, Sister Crystal Muhammad.
All power to the people. Brother Kofi touched on our Independent Civilian Review Board. Last week, Harris County Criminal Courthouse affirmed the need for an Independent Civilian Review Board. You have a district attorney's office with unlimited resources, yet they never indict police officers that violate our human rights. You had a situation where it appeared to be justice in the Blomberg case, but it was a sham from the gate. First, the officers or ex-officers that beat Chad Holley should have been charged with felonies in the first place. That was aggravated assault to a child. That was attempted murder by hitting him with the car. That was gang banging him and beating him, gang assault. That's a hate crime. I mean, they were so severely undercharged. That's the first problem, which clearly shows not only racism, but a very foul problem with corruption in the Harris County Courthouse. Second, right now, after the verdict, the district attorney went public to say that it was she didn't agree, to paraphrase what she said, even the mayor. Well, if you're the district attorney, reconvene a grand jury, which she can do, properly charge Blomberg and the other officers, number one. And the whole way the court was set up was racist. If Blomberg can get an all-white jury, then black people should get all black juries. Latino people should get all Latino juries. The precedent has been set. So it needs to be equality across the board, not whites-only justice. That has to stop. That has to stop today. We are going to continue organizing because that is what we do. We will continue to mobilize our people and expose the world to the human rights violations that are taking place here in Houston, Texas, that have gone on for too long. That's all I have to say, because we have work to do. We're not expecting this solution to come by no press conference or the DA or the mayor. We're going to organize our people and get justice on our own.
Good point, Sister Crystal.
Yes.
Next, 3 people were arrested on Friday. That was myself, Sister Crystal, and Sister Maria. Right. Now, speaking on the arrest aspect of things is our attorney, Sister Jolanda Jones. And we would like to have Jolanda say whatever words relative to the arrest that took place on Friday at the district attorney's office.
Although I did not go to the district attorney's office as their lawyer, I was supposed to be a participant in a meeting that took place this morning. I morphed into being their lawyer when it became obvious that they were going to be arrested. For the record, they did not impede any of the business of the district attorney's office. When people wanted to go in, they were allowed in. The door to enter into Pat Lycos' office was open. When people wanted to go to the window, they were able to go to the window. When people wanted to go to the back, they moved and allowed people to go to the back. At no time I heard District Attorney Lycos say that her staff was cussed out. To my knowledge, she wasn't there present, so I know she didn't hear anything. If she heard anything, it was hearsay. But my clients did not cuss people out. And apart from that, even if they had, the First Amendment protects speech. It's not against the law to cuss people out, even if they were, but they were not. Let me be clear. The district attorney's decision to arrest people who were exercising their constitutional rights, 1, to peaceably assemble, to redress government, and 2, to exercise their freedom of speech, is an affront to the United States Constitution and why this country was founded. And for her to do it, I mean, if she were smarter, she would have waited until the building was supposed to close at 6 o'clock. And if they didn't leave and done that, at least she would have had a better leg to stand on. But she did it, if not before noon, right after noon. And, I mean, she just did not want to hear complaints about her office. And she wanted to get the media out of there. She didn't want it to be a story all day. So she used her power as the district attorney to stifle speech. I'm ashamed of how the district attorney reacted and responded, and for all the time that she took to decide that she was not going to meet with people who specifically requested the meeting. She could have met with them. So it wasn't even about meeting with them. It was about trying to figure out a politically safe way to get out of it. I believe that her decision to arrest my clients is unconstitutional, and I believe it was political. She is in a tough runoff with someone to the right of her, and she wanted to appear to be tough on crime. But I don't think that you should exercise power like that. In very many ways, it's similar to how the police exercise their power to beat up a child, regardless of what he did. And I will defend my clients to the fullest, and we will see if my clients get justice in Harris County.
With that being said, we're going to have a couple of more speakers. One person that participated in the meeting as well as stayed and helped us when we were arrested and got out of jail is our big brother who's helped teach us and train us, is Student Minister Robert Muhammad from the Muhammad Mosque number 45, the representative of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam in this city. And we want to hear from our big brother, Minister Robert. And
I'm Brother Robert Muhammad, M-U-H-A-M-M-A-D, Nation of Islam. Last week, we were invited to a meeting at the District Attorney's office. We attended that meeting, and I can tell you from that meeting, the initial participants in the press conference, DA Lycos held her position. As I said on Friday, she was hardcore. I think that's how the Chronicle quoted me, and that was the truth. Simply said, we have come to the point where there are many in the community who are so outraged by this particular incident, it being videotaped, and the outcome of the initial trial, that I have, as many of us here at this table, have begun to get phone calls from people we never get phone calls from across all class, race, and religious backgrounds. I've heard from people that absolutely, it boggles my mind. There's a certain, our demeanor, don't allow our demeanor to fool you. We're simply trying to let you know that this is a very, very volatile situation. And we have these upcoming trials coming up. The people are upset. The people want to know what they can do to change this situation. Lastly, the bottom line is that these are systemic problems. I've been over Mars 45 for 25 years, and I've been here under Mr. Johnny Holmes, Chuck Rosenthal, and now Pat Lycos. And it matters not whether Mr. Andrews knocks out in the primary or not, or whether he would survive a general election challenge by the Democrat whoever is running. It matters not. It's a system that continues to take advantage of the least, the last, the lost, the locked out, and left behind. I close with this final point, that she's under attack because she made some minor tinkering with the DWI arrests and conviction or prosecutions and trace crack cocaine. That's what she's under attack for. So that says to me, crime rate is down. The same amount of people are coming into the courthouse. The people are still raking in all this money in all the parking lots around the courthouse. DAs are making their money. Bail bondsmen are making their money. Defense attorneys, appointed attorneys are making their money. Nothing has changed. And as a people in the 21st century, we have come to the point where we say, enough is enough.
That's right. That's right.
Either we're going to get real justice, or no one can have any peace. Now, when I say that, that automatically puts myself and others on the front line of saying we're calling for violence. We're not calling for violence. We're not calling for that. We're simply saying that the people, when people are denied justice, they become unstable and insane. And it only takes one determined or mentally challenged individual with access to whatever out there to do something to people to get our attention. Does it have to come to that, Houston? I hope not. So I simply say that a city that would open up its heart to 150,000 of our New Orleans neighbors who were displaced by Katrina or by the man-made disaster that Katrina called for.
That's right.
If we have a heart to open up our city for these type of people, then why don't we have a heart for justice? Enough is enough.
I want to first say that in the meeting with Pat Lycos, it was no love fest. That meeting with Pat Lycos was very difficult and very hard. In fact, one of the most painful meetings I've been a part of. Trying to get Pat Lycos to compromise with what we believe would be make some progress in these upcoming trials was like drawing water from a rock. At the end of the day, I believe, and we should all believe, that we need the Department of Justice and Eric Holder to step in and take over the Houston Police Department. Right. I believe that Chief McCullen has a good heart to want to make changes, but he has a rogue element so deeply ingrained within the Houston Police Department. If the FBI would come in and take over that department, then perhaps we can see some progress. Secondly, if the FBI and the Department of Justice would come in and take over these upcoming prosecutions, they have the power to do that. But an all-white jury is inappropriate. To me, it's unethical, and the Batson motion that states that juries should be diverse. Dick DeGuerin, according to his statement, said that all African Americans were struck because they either saw the video and could not be biased in sitting in the trial. That's an insult to us as a community to say that we could see a video and could not sit down in a jury's box, hear all of the facts, and come back with a firm conclusion based on the facts. But yet others outside of the black community have the ability to see the video, sit in the jury box, then come back with a fair and just conclusion. That's an insult. So we believe that the Department of Justice should step in and take over these prosecutions. We believe that Eric Holder should step in, take over the Houston Police Department, and make some serious changes, because it will not change until a power greater than Chief McCullen can send a message to the rank and file of the Houston Police Department that there's zero tolerance on police excessive use of force, brutality, and misconduct.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to say a brief statement in English, and then I'd like to say a statement in Spanish of that, which will also incorporate some of the main points already presented here by these distinguished members of the coalition. First of all, in English, I'd like to make it clear that as far as the epidemic, if you will, of police gone wild in the Latino community and in the especially African American community and poor white community, I've been involved in that struggle for 30 years within the city of Houston. And that's why some of the Spanish-speaking community in Houston, and for that matter throughout the United States and South America, are familiar, not just with my role, but with the role of tens of thousands of people who took part in that, for instance, to stop the execution of Ricardo Guerrero, and also joined in the outrage with regard to the murder, cold-blooded murder by Houston police of Jose Campos Torres in the 1970s. I also briefly want to mention that I was selected by a community organization in 1982 to sit on the Civilian Police Review Board until 1984. We had hearings in Houston City Council chambers at that time, and we were calling for a civilian review board with subpoena power to stop the epidemic of young people, in fact, who are being chased into their driveways because of a traffic violation and shot dead in their own driveway. That's something that came out during those hearings. There was an African-American nurse who came forward to offer that information. But I just simply want to point out, yes, I joined this specific protest with regard to the outrage that's being felt throughout this country and throughout this hemisphere. You best believe that the word of Trayvon Martin went not only from coast to coast in the United States, it went all the way down to the southernmost tip of Latin America and around the world. And it's the same situation here with Chad Holley. Here is a situation whereby, for the umpteenth time, the justice system, and I am, by the way, a practicing attorney, have been for 30 years, where the system is asking us to disbelieve our eyes, where the system is asking us to disbelieve. In this particular situation, we actually, and this is a very rare opportunity, to be witnesses to felony assault upon a child, not by just one officer, but 2 officers, 3 officers, 4 officers, 5 officers. Look at that videotape again and again, and you'll see there is more than just even 1 or 2, for that matter, serious felonies. And so that's one of the big demands we had that kept us there in that office on Friday, and that was the demand that the district attorney reconvene the grand jury in order to bring felony indictments against all of these officers involved in the I would say possibly near fatal beating death, or I should say near fatal beating of Chad Holley. But in any event, that was one of the key points that was on the agenda that, of course, was never carried out on Friday. But the second point was, and the other members of the leaders of the community have spoken to that, and that was the demand for a civilian review board with subpoena power. Now, and prosecutorial power. And now, because of this outrage, not only that there were no felonies brought against the officers, but that with regard to the misdemeanor charge of official oppression that was brought against Officer Andrew Blomberg, a no guilty verdict by an all-white jury was the straw that broke the camel's back. And then when leaders of the African American and Latino community along with Anglo-American supporters in the background, but when we went to that office to talk with the district attorney about that, then we're arrested and thrown in jail like common criminals. And I just simply want to point out that Spanish-speaking, and not just Spanish-speaking people in the United States, but now throughout Latin America, because as you know, our Spanish-speaking media reaches throughout the Western Hemisphere, has been calling about what is going to be done by the community in general. And this is an opportunity. By the way, one last point, and that is, as you know, and has already been said, and that is now is an opportunity for this kind of lawlessness to be brought to an end by, especially because of the unity that's being forged here, especially between the Latino and the African American community, which suffers the brunt of these kinds of murderous attacks. Thank you very much for your patience. I will switch now to Spanish. Que estamos aquí, líderes de la comunidad afroamericana, inclusive líderes en cuanto al Partido Verde, en cuanto a los angloamericanos que también están uniéndose en este grito para justicia, no solo para Holley, que fue golpeado ante los ojos del mundo por un montón de policías, sino también justicia para un gran número de jovencitos que han sido asesinados por los policías de este país. No sé si acuerdan ustedes del caso de José Campos Torres, del caso de Carl Hampton, el caso de Anthony Childress, el caso de Ida Lee Delaney, una madre de sangre afroamericana que fue asesinada en la carretera por un policía de Houston. El caso de Jabbar Perkins. Nosotros podríamos hablar de un sinnúmero de casos, especialmente jovencitos de afroamericanos y también jovencitos latinoamericanos que han sido, y también angloamericanos pobres que han sido atacados brutalmente por los policías de este país y de esta ciudad. Y nosotros al fin tenemos una situación ahora a causa de los medios de comunicación, a causa del internet. Los pueblos ya se dan cuenta de lo que está pasando y están demandando. Justicia están demandando que se les pongan cargos de felonía en contra de todos los policías que golpearon a este jovencito. Y también se están demandando una mesa y un comité de repaso con poder jurídico para que con el poder de la corte se arrastren ante un comité de repaso el testimonio de otros testigos que están viendo este tipo de brutalidad a través de esta comunidad. Solo voy a mencionar brevemente que hace 30 años yo servía en tal comité, pero no nos dieron el poder jurídico. Y es lo que estamos demandando ahora. Al fin, habíamos 3 que estaban protestando esta cosa en el despacho de la fiscal. Y el viernes pasado. Y ella, entonces, en vez de escucharnos, ella nos encarceló, ella nos arrestó, y inclusive su servidora, la licenciada, y a mi lado a Cristal, y también al otro lado el líder de COFI, del movimiento nacional del Frente Afroamericano, y ella, Cristal, es líder del nuevo partido de las Panteras Negras. De veras, al fin, los pueblos de habla hispana se están uniéndose con el pueblo afroamericano y con los angloamericanos para poner fin a esto. Gracias, muchas gracias. Y también otra cosa que queremos mencionar, y es que cuáles son los cargos de felonía que se les hubiera puesto en contra de estos oficiales. Ya hemos mencionado, se les hubieran puesto felonía de tratar de matar a un jovencito, de asaltar a un jovencito. También tenía felonía de destruir y ocultar documentos gubernamentales, porque había un video hecho por la policía, pero se desapareció. Si no fuera por el valor de esa señora angloamericana que reveló el video por una tienda que estaba grabando toda la mala conducta de estos policías, no se hubiera sacado a la luz la verdad de esa brutalidad, porque los policías negaron que ocurrió tal cosa. Muchas gracias.